Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for February 16th, 2025. Boasting in Arrogance, from James chapter 4, verse 16. As it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. It is easy to get caught up in our own plans, our own successes, and our own ambitions. The world encourages self-promotion, personal achievement, and the pursuit of our own desires. But James offers a stark warning. Boasting in arrogance is not just unwise, it is evil. James speaks directly to those who assume they control their own future. Earlier in the chapter, James rebukes those who say, today or tomorrow we will go into such and such a town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit. He reminds them that their lives are like a mist, appearing for a short time before vanishing. Rather than boasting about what they will accomplish, they should say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. At the heart of this passage is a call to humility. Boasting in our own power and plans is, at its core, a failure to acknowledge God's sovereignty. When we act as though we are the masters of our destiny, we place ourselves in the position of God. This is the same arrogance that led Adam and Eve to eat the forbidden fruit, seeking to be like God rather than trusting in His wisdom. It is the same arrogance that led to the Tower of Babel, where people sought to make a name for themselves apart from God. And it is the same arrogance that still tempts us today. How often do we make plans without seeking the Lord's guidance? How often do we take credit for our own successes, forgetting that every good gift comes from God? James reminds us that such boasting is not just misplaced confidence, it is sinful. This passage does not mean that making plans is wrong. Scripture encourages wisdom, diligence, and responsibility. But our plans must always be submitted to the Lord, recognizing that our lives are in God's hands does not lead to passivity, but rather it leads to a life of trust. When we surrender our ambitions to God, we find freedom from anxiety, knowing that His will is always best. Jesus Himself modeled this perfect humility. In the Garden of Gethsemane, He faced the cross. He prayed, "Not my will, but yours be done." Though He had every right to claim power and authority, He humbled Himself, submitting to the Father's plan for our salvation. If Christ, the Son of God, lived with such dependence on the Father, how much more should we? Today, let us examine our hearts. Are we trusting in ourselves? Or are we seeking God's will? Are we boasting in our plans? Or are we humbly submitting to His? May we remember that our lives are in His hands. And may we always say, if the Lord wills. God's peace and many blessings be with you, and thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others.